Arizona, a state that I lived in for the majority of my adolescence until I joined the Air Force at 19 years old. I've lived in a lot of different areas of the U.S., but if you ask me where I consider home, my answer would, and has always been, Arizona. The craziest part is after growing up here, I haven't been back in 20 years. After watching one of my favorite overland creators, Brad, from Trail Recon, embark on a journey across this great state, I knew I had to make it my next big trip. To date, this would, without a doubt, be our largest undertaking strictly dedicated to overlanding. And while we spent nearly 4 months getting ready, nothing could have fully equipped us for the stunning views, the dramatic shifts in landscape, or the setbacks we faced along the way. From arid desert landscapes to cliffside views on the Mogollon Rim and the Grand Canyon. From getting a complete set of 5 new tires to crashing my drone and unexpected snowfall, Arizona showed us why it really was the Wild West. Join me and my wife Melissa as we journey across this majestic state from the Mexico border all the way north to Utah. This is Arizona. Alright everybody, welcome back to another video. As you saw there, we were just cleaning up camp and we just stopped for an easy breakfast. Good old Denny's for the win. We are headed down to Tombstone to spend a little time down there, and then we are hitting the Arizona BDR starting today. We have 10 days to do the entire trail, so we can take our time, do some exploring, just hang out, no rush. This will be the longest route we've taken to date and the longest time frame that we'll have spent off-grid out in the wilderness, 10 straight days. So we're gonna head down to Tombstone, check it out down there, and then hit the trail. We'll see you in Tombstone. Just arrived in Tombstone. It's really nice. They have a nice little RV parking lot down here. We're about to head up onto the street. So we used Benson, Arizona. We were at the KOA. That's the campground you saw us cleaning up from. We figured that would be a good jumping off point to start this. They have all the amenities you could need there, a super Walmart, Safeway, gas, restaurants, all that good stuff. So we figured that would be a good spot to start from. It's only a half an hour down here to Tombstone. So we're stopping here, gonna check out the town, maybe get a few things, and then head down to the official start of the BDR. So let's go check out Tombstone. Tombstone, Arizona, a former boomtown of the American frontier, was founded in 1879 by Ed Shefflin. It rapidly grew due to silver mining, becoming a bustling town with a population reaching 7,500 in the mid-1880s. The town's history is marked by the infamous gunfight at the OK Corral, the Earp family, and Doc Holliday. Eventually, the town declined as the mines flooded and silver prices dropped. Today, Tombstone is a National Historic Landmark and a popular tourist destination, showcasing its Old West history and reenactments. Okay, so we just left Tombstone. That was Tombstone, Arizona. That was a cool old western town. If you find yourself in this area, highly recommend you stop. It's really cool to see all the history and just try and imagine the people living there. I had commented to Melissa that I wondered what made people choose Tombstone. There's nothing really around here. There's no water or anything. And we saw that little gunfight show, and they actually said the guy who founded Tombstone actually found a big plat of silver. So that's how Tombstone became a boomtown, was because of silver. We are now headed down to the official start of the Arizona BDR. Looks like we got about a half an hour to get there. So yeah, highly recommend stopping in Tombstone, and we will see you when we get to the trail. We have hit the official starting point of the BDR. It's still paved roads for a little bit, I believe, before we actually get under, but we just hit the official start to the Arizona BDR. The start of the BDR finds you turning off Highway 92 headed south towards the Coronado National Monument. The paved road brings you past the visitor center and continues on for another mile or so before transitioning to dirt and sending you climbing for Montezuma Pass. And it would be there, a mere 8 miles into our journey, where we would run into trouble. As we summited Montezuma Pass, we stopped to take in the sprawling views of the San Rafael Valley to the west, which you descend into on your way back down. It was on this descent that disaster would strike. I hadn't aired down, and you'll hear my explanation in just a moment as to why. The puncture was quite severe, and I ended up having to use 3 plugs from my tire repair kit to get it to stop leaking. At least so I thought I did. More on that later. With the repairs made and all tires now aired down, we continued on our journey west. So after a little mishap after leaving Montezuma Pass, we have made it to the Mexico border. This road, we're gonna head that way, runs right along the USA-Mexico border. So this is about as far south in Arizona as you can get right here at this fence. Because of the blowout, well, it's not a blowout, it's a puncture really. I was hoping to be at camp by now. It is 3:45 and we still got a little bit to go. So we're gonna get moving. I just wanted to hop out and stand here on the border. There's definitely an argument for airing down no matter what. I didn't air down thinking, I'll air down if it gets bad. Well, obviously there's no way to know for sure, but if I was already aired down, perhaps the rock that punctured my tire might not have punctured it because the tire would have rolled over it rather than stabbed right into it. And the best part is it's the same tire that we punctured on the Utah BDR. So now that tire has 2 punctures. That's what a full-size spare is, but I think it might be time to get rid of these factory tires. Anyway, we're gonna get back on the road and get to camp. While the route takes you right along the southern border, it's not long before it points you north. You end up traveling through a lot of private land before re-entering the Coronado National Forest, and it was there that I had picked out a site for us to stop for the night. The issue of the still leaking tire weighed heavy on my mind and served as an unfortunate distraction to filming. We got camp set up for the night, and I did manage to get the drone up for some spectacular views. However, as I mentioned in the intro, the tire was just the beginning of what Arizona was about to throw at us. Good morning from the Coronado National Forest. We rolled into camp last night around like 4:30. It is now 7 o'clock the next morning. The sun is coming up. It's nice and cool right now, but as you know, in the desert, it's going to heat up real quick. We're going to make some breakfast, start breaking down camp, get back on the road. I got the tire changed out last night after getting that gash, so in essence, we're without a spare right now. Worst comes to worst, we could use it. It's just still slowly leaking, and we'd be constantly stopping to refill it with air. So we'll just see how it goes without the spare. And then obviously worst case scenario, we do go through towns on the route, so we'll just stop and get the tire fixed or buy a new one or something. I don't know. So we're gonna have some breakfast while Melissa's cooking. I'm gonna start slowly just kind of breaking stuff down. But this is a beautiful area. Nice and quiet. We put the trail cam out last night, but did not get anything on the trail cam. Let's get camp broken down, have some breakfast, and then we're gonna get back on the trail. The southern portions of this route, there's a lot of pavement driving. As you turn off to come into the Coronado National Monument, it's pavement all the way up to the visitor center, and then pavement for probably another mile after that even, and then it turns to dirt roads. And you're on dirt all the way through the Coronado National Forest, but from where we're camped right now, it's only a short distance back to pavement, and then there's another 20 something miles of pavement. It does a little loop off pavement again for like 30 miles, and then you're back on pavement again for another 20 miles. Probably won't be a whole lot of driving footage and stuff this first few days, but hopefully it's going to get a little more interesting. Still beautiful scenery. Pavement or not, it's still a beautiful drive. It's amazing to see this type of vegetation and stuff here in Arizona. You know, you hear Arizona, New Mexico, you usually just think of cactuses and desert, but this is actually really beautiful out here. So, all right, let's get breakfast made. So we just entered the Las Ciénegas National Conservation Area. You were on pavement there for about 20 something miles. Once we left camp, it was only a few miles on dirt, and then about 20 miles, like I said, we stopped, got some gas, and then it's about 4 miles down the road, you get back on dirt. You know, it's really tempting when you look at the route to skip this part, because if you look, it's just a big loop, and you come right back out onto the main road just a couple miles down the road. There's a lot of interesting things to see in here, and it's still beautiful. So we have the time to do it. If you're on a time crunch, this is probably a spot you could skip if you so felt like it. It's very washboardy in here. We did air down just because, again, this road, there's nothing technical or crazy about it, but it's very washboard. If you have the means to air up and air down, I suggest just go ahead and air down, make the ride just a little more comfortable. We're gonna go ahead and do this loop and see what it's all about. So we just pulled off here at the Empire Ranch, and I figured I'd fit the part and put on my cowboy hat. So I got this. We both got custom made cowboy hats back in Tombstone. I just didn't reveal it until now. I thought, here at the ranch, why not? They had this special going. It was a little pop-up shop. You got to customize. You pick out the color of your hat. You got to customize it how you want it. I stayed very simple. Gray with a gray band and just a little bit of turquoise in there and a feather. So let's go check out the ranch. In the wide open lands of southern Arizona, one ranch rose above the rest, Empire Ranch. Founded in 1876 by Walter Vail and Herbert Hislop, it grew from a modest homestead into a sprawling 180 square mile cattle empire. But building an empire wasn't easy. Apache raids, isolation, and hardship tested the ranchers at every turn. Still, they stood their ground and thrived. Silver from the nearby Total Wreck mine fueled their expansion, and soon Empire Ranch was the crown jewel of Arizona ranching. Its 22-room adobe house stood as a beacon of success in the rugged frontier. Through decades of droughts, cattle drives, Hollywood films, and near destruction by wildfire, Empire Ranch survived, a testament to grit, vision, and the spirit of the West. Today, Empire Ranch lives on, preserved for future generations, a place where history still whispers on the wind. You can learn more about Empire Ranch by visiting their website at www.empireranchfoundation.org. There you can learn more about the history of the ranch, how to get there, and upcoming events, as well as make donations to the foundation to help keep this part of history alive. All right, so that was the Empire Ranch. That was pretty cool. Again, if you like history, I highly recommend you stop and check it out. It's pretty cool to see. So we are back on the trail to finish this little loop, and then we'll be back on pavement, heading back through Benson again, and continuing on north. That's really when you hit some good northerly distances. Once you get back through Benson, it turns north and pretty much keeps heading north. So we're gonna finish this loop and see how it goes. All right, we have made it to Camp Night 2. Again, these first few sections are a lot of pavement. We hit some dirt, finally. And it was kind of slow going. Not a whole lot of interesting things to see. There's a lot of private property you're driving through until you kind of get up a little north. We are on state trust lands, which if you get a permit, you are allowed to camp up to 14 days a year. We will be here for 1 day. We have a pretty awesome spot. I know the sun's gonna blow this out. Overlooking the valley. I mean, you can see there's a ranch right down there, somebody's private property. But this side of the road is state trust land, and this is an established campsite. You can see there's a fire ring there. I apologize ahead of time for this segment. The audio is not going to be the greatest because for some reason my wireless mic receiver died, even though it was sitting in the charger. And for some reason my road microphone is also not working when I plug it in. Kind of windy. There's some good gusts here. We just can't seem to win with these tires. I have been wanting to change them out. Anyway, they're the factory tires. You look around, everybody hates them. They've done their job, I guess. But we had the gash, so we're down a spare. Well, now our driver front tire keeps slowly losing air, slowly losing air, slowly losing air. We're having to stop every 20 minutes to fill it. It just keeps losing air. I think I know where it's at. We stopped at a Love's to try and see if I could see if there was something in it, but there seems to be another gash that has possibly exposed some steel belting, or it's a piece of metal like buried in there that I cannot get out. So we are going to limp the next couple days. I have already made an appointment at Discount Tire in Flagstaff to get new tires, and you will just have to wait and see which tires we are getting. Way better tires. We are not getting factory replacement tires. I'm over it. I'm going to spend the money and get good tires. We're going to replace all 5 and be on our way and be done with the stupid tires. This is, you know, where we're camped. We made it to about where we need to be for day 2. So that worked out really good. But again, we rolled in here late. It is already 10 after 6. I don't know, maybe for some of you that's not late. I prefer to get into camp at like 3 o'clock. Then you have time to set everything up, relax. You don't have to rush. You can catch some sun for your solar panels. So anyway, we rolled in here at 5 o'clock again. That last half, I will tell you all now, that after that Empire Ranch, if you continue on the loop of the official route for the BDR, it is slow going. We made it from pavement to the Empire Ranch in probably 30 minutes. So I was thinking, oh, the road was real decent. I was thinking we were going to finish that whole loop and maybe from the ranch, maybe another 45 minutes. Oh no. Oh, no. It was about another hour and a half, 2 hours to get out. Granted, we did make up some time because after you get out of there, there's quite a bit of pavement before you get up here in this area and hit dirt again. I will say this segment too, when you do hit dirt, very, very washboardy. I would highly recommend airing down. At first we weren't going to because I was like, it looked like a decent road on Google Street View because there's actually Google Street View up here. It was not. We made it about, I don't know, 15 minutes down the road and just aired down. The camp spot I picked out up here is further down the road, but we saw this spot as we pulled up the road and we were like, you know what? Good enough. Instead of going another mile or 2 down the road, this was good enough. We saw it was a campsite. It's got absolutely stunning views. I can't wait to get some drone footage of it. We are gonna get set up here for some dinner probably in a little bit. I am trying to catch the last of the sun. Unfortunately, it's a little overcast, which is a double-edged sword. It's nice because it's not as hot. The air temperature is still hot, but not the sun beating down on you, but I'm also not catching much for solar. We're doing okay with the battery. I'm still having issues. For some reason, the Bronco doesn't seem to be charging the battery very well. I have the wire run for it. I don't know. I don't know why it's not charging it very well. There's obviously something in there. I did it all myself, the trailer wiring harness and all that stuff. So I must have done something wrong or something, which is strange because the 4 to 7 pin adapter that I got on e-trailer, basically all for the trailer charging and brakes, you need a power wire and it runs straight from the battery right to the plug. And then obviously the trailer wiring should be running back to the battery to charge the battery. I think it is charging it, just not enough to make up for the fridge running. I don't know. I guess at least it keeps it from draining faster than it normally would. Anyway, that's enough rambling, I guess, from this campsite. Enjoy some drone footage. I'm gonna try and put it up while it seems like the wind is dying down. And yeah, we're gonna get ready to have some dinner. You can hear it in my voice. the early struggles, the doubts. Out here, it's easy to lose yourself until the desert reminds you why you came. We watched the sun fall behind the mountains, shadows stretching across the valley. Under a sky full of stars, we found our peace. This was just the beginning. Arizona still had more to show us, and we were ready. I hope you'll stay with us as we push deeper into the unknown, through deserts, volcanoes, forests, and canyons. Hit subscribe. The journey's just getting started.